Good morning everyone, Daryl here. How are you guys doing today? And today we have a project. We're going to be doing brakes, probably front and rear, on the Mariner Hybrid, which of course is the same as the Ford Escape Hybrid. Not much different than the standard model Escapes and Mariners. Also the Mazda Tribute would fit in there too, but there's the most important thing you got to remember when you getting ready to do the brakes on the hybrid. Open the hood and disconnect the battery. If you don't disconnect the battery, the brakes can cycle while you have the calipers removed and blow the pistons out, which is going to cause you all kinds of grief because it's impossible to properly bleed the brakes and do all that stuff on your own without taking it to the dealer. So you don't want to get the system cracked open and have to replace calipers and brake lines or pistons or anything like that if you don't have to. So we pull the battery off. That will stop the brakes from auto energizing, which they do like every half hour or hour, whatever it is. That's some sort of time schedule. You can hear it every time when you like walk by your car. Every once in a while you hear it go bzzz, click click, and that's the brake system energizing itself for some reason. But alright, we're going to be using a 9mm hex bit on my ratchet handle to remove the caliper mounting bolts, which are here. A lot of times there's a little plastic rubber cap that goes over this rubber sleeve here, there, and right down here on the bottom also. There's two bolts to take out. And just put that in there and lift up really hard. There we go. And we work that out. And we'll do the same thing on the bottom. Now here's a little tip for you. Sometimes they get built up with crud and residue on the slide. This is the slide shaft part of the bolt. And the residue will cause them to stick in the rubber boot and they'll be hard to pull out. What I do is I apply like a little bit of a twist and pull as I'm spinning, like I'm turning it this way and pulling at the same time on an angle, and it usually helps pull it out. The other thing you can do is you can reach a screwdriver or pry tool through this hole right here and then push on the end of it and help push it out that way from the back side. But you're going to want to clean this all up really good before you put it back together and apply a light coat of brake grease to it to make it sure it slides and retracts smoothly once you get everything back in place. Alright, once the bolts are out, take your screwdriver and pop this little rattle clip off the front by lifting up on the outer end of one of the arms here, and it should pop right off. And then once that's done, you should be able to reach back here with a pry tool of some sort and remove the caliper. Up and down a little, and it should come right off. There we go. Now I've always used a big C-clamp to compress the piston with. Other people tell me they use a large pair of channel locks and just squeeze it in place. I've always liked to do it nice and gradual with a C-clamp myself. Alright, well you can see the car is all back together now. I didn't show the rest of the process because I ran out of battery. Well, such as it is. It's really clearly no different from that point from any other brake job you've done before. It's just a matter of clipping the new brake pads into place and bolting the calipers back on, really. I did want to mention a couple more things about the hybrid. I said at the beginning how I took the battery loose so that the brakes wouldn't cycle. There's also a way to do it using the ignition switch and pressing the brake pedal a certain number of times. I just don't trust myself to do it correctly or trust the car to really go into safe braking mode. So for me it's easier just to pull the battery cable off. You can do it either way. The other thing is, make sure when you check your brakes on this, you always check the back ones. People with disc brakes on all four wheels have been in the habit now of always worrying about the front ones because those tend to wear out 2 or 3 times faster than the rear. But it's just the opposite on the hybrids. On the hybrids, the rear brakes wear out twice as fast as the front brakes. So make sure you keep an eye on those rear brake pads on the hybrid. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.